Okay, welcome back to session 3 of this little campaign we're calling Devil's Due, for reasons that should be fairly apparent at this point. I'm your DM, Jay. Matt?
I'm Matt, still. My name hasn't changed since last week.
I just feel like it's good to introduce yourself each session.
Yep.
Can I introduce myself by a different name every time we play?
I mean, if you want to, it's all in your power. Okay, so last session we ended with you guys walking back into town with Hugh, the carter,
Yes.
having successfully taken care of the bandits that were attacking the road periodically.
Yes.
Okay. You are back in town. You have protected the cart, the traveling salesman. You have killed the bandits and have their uniforms as proof of their death. What do?
So I believe our first trip should probably be to go back to the blacksmith.
Yes,
Great.
I agree.
And prove to him that we've killed the bandits. So I start to walk towards the blacksmith shop.
I join you.
Okay.
Same.
Hugh waves to you and says, I guess I'll see you at the inn later. Only place around here to really stay, so it was fun walking with you, and, I appreciate not being killed by bandits, so...
That's usually good.
You're welcome.
I'm glad we could help with that.
Okay, and he goes straight into the heart of town to hit the inn, and you guys kind of go off to the side to get to the other corner to meet up with the blacksmith, whose name, I will remind you, is George.
George.
Oh,
George.
Blacksmith.
hi, George.
George Smith.
All right. So
Okay.
I'll go up to George and say, hey, we were able to take care of those bandits. And
Oh,
then show him the proof that
I half expected you to die, to be honest.
Well, I've fought more disciplined men before.
I mean, that's fair. There was just, a lot of them. Or were there? How many were there? We assume there was a lot of them.
We killed
9?
7.
No, the notes I have is that we brought 7 of the leather armor back, but we left 2, and there was also the studded leather one, so 10?
Yes, there were 10 of them.
10. 10 is the number. I don't remember very well.
Okay. Well, I'm even more impressed now, so good job.
Yeah.
I feel like I should be offended, but I almost died at the same time, so...
No, I don't know. This conversation's not really going anywhere.
He's kind of just standing there awkwardly, he's like, yeah, I mean, thank you.
Yeah.
For that.
So, what?
Do you want some of the wares we retrieved? We don't have anything that we can do with it, really.
Well, we could sell them, or we could... Oh, yeah. Has anybody lost anything to the bandit raids?
I mean, yeah, everyone's lost a little bit of stuff. I got a few raw ingot shipments that got delayed from the mining town. Ironburg? Is that what it was called? I should know this. I should remember my cities better.
Ironburg.
Yes, okay. Ironburg. So yeah, I've got a miss of those.
That's right.
I know
we've got a lot of ingots right now, don't we?
I know the weavers, Charlotte, had a few bolts of cloth stolen as well. I think there was some food that was supposed to go to the inn and some feed for the local farmers, but
I pull. I show some of the ingots. Would these be the ingots that you were missing?
yeah, that looks like them.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to not give it to them.
Yeah.
Like,
There you go then.
they're really heavy. So that's
Thank you.
2 copper ingots, 2 iron ingots.
Yep. And you see he just picks them up, one to each hand, like lifts them like there's no effort at all, walks to the back of and just stacks them neatly in a little series of baskets in the back.
Damn, George.
Can you point us to the weaver? I'd like to return the bolts of cloth that we got as well.
She's the one right off of the main street with a flag hanging above the door.
Cool.
Okay, sounds good. Let's get going, guys.
Heading to the Weaver.
He looks at you and he goes, as you're leaving, he goes, "Thanks for this. You didn't have to, but thanks."
Well,
You're
you
right.
paid for them, so
We didn't have to.
Bronx
That's what we wanna
licks
do.
George's hand affectionately.
He scratches him behind the ears.
Bronx is a happy boy.
there we go. The dog's happy. I pet the dog as we leave.
Okay.
Bronx leans into the pet.
There we go.
So we head over to the seamstress.
It's like
Yep,
4 houses down. Again, not a big
not a
town.
very big town.
All the way down on the main street.
Enter the establishment.
Yep.
As you get closer, you see a flag that has a crocheted needle dangling a piece of red thread into the, just raw cotton colored flag hanging above the door. And
Good.
as you open the door and enter, you are met with what basically looks like your grandma's sitting room. There is a quilt or crocheted stuff on every surface, varying different colors, mostly sticking to earthy tones, and a large loom sitting in the corner. There is no
Nice.
real rhyme or reason to what colors are where or anything. It's just all of the quilts. And
Okay.
Is there anyone there?
Yeah.
as you walk in, you hear a small voice from the back saying, "Coming! I'll be there in a minute."
No rush. Take your time.
Morgana's gonna look around.
What? Okay.
Morgana's gonna look around.
What kind of things are you looking for? In
I'm just perusing the tapestries, sir.
Okay. So you're looking around, and the other two are waiting patiently by the door when
Yep.
a small, thin, older woman, not quite old, but getting close, walks out, and she goes, "Oh, hello. You must be those foreigners George was talking about."
Yes,
Oh,
Yes, we are. I'm Hal. These are my companions, Morgana and Shane. What's your name?
Marvin.
Marvin. Right.
No, Marvin.
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 Marvin. Marvin.
Apparently, he's from Boston too.
Marvin's like wicked cool, bruv.
Marvin the Mosh. All right. And yeah, we were talking to George. He said that these bolts of cloth that we recovered from the bandits might be yours.
1 purple, 1 blue, 1 red.
And she just looks as you pull them out, and she goes, "Oh, yes, I special ordered those quite some time ago. I had given them up for lost. How much did you want for them?"
Do you happen to have a dog jacket?
She looks at your dog, which is standing next to you, probably, flopped down on some quilt somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, No, but I could make one.
That would be fantastic.
I say obviously you've already paid for them once, but if you wouldn't mind helping us out, 25% of the original price would be more than
And a
enough.
dog
for us.
jacket.
That seems fair. And how much did I tell you they were worth last time? Oh, I told you a range, didn't I? 10 to 30, right?
That was the one thing I
was the
didn't write
most
down.
expensive. It was like twice as expensive as the others. I think.
I think it
But I don't
was
remember.
10 for the blue, 15 for the red, 25 for the purple. So doing quick math in my head, that's 50. A quarter of that is 13 gold. Okay. So she goes back. She goes, it'll be in a bit of awkward change. I'm not used to dealing in such large quantities, but give me a minute and I'll go get it. And you see her shuffle
Sure.
back into the back of her shop, which you bet is where she lives, as people do in these times. And you hear some clunking around, you hear some scrapes as semi-large things are moved. You hear her wander into another room, and similar thumps and scrapes follow her, and this repeats about 4 or 5 times. And then she comes back and hands you 13 gold in the form of 7 gold pieces, 50 silver, and
And a gold
100
pen.
coppers. And then she looks at you and she says, "What color of coat would you like for your dog, dearie?"
Well, I'm assuming that he's a blue pit. So obviously like a checkered blue gray. I think that would look very dapper. Is that possible?
I can make it work.
Oh, that's the best. You're wonderful.
It's gonna take 5 days.
That
can-
seems fair. Thanks very much.
I can get back to work on some of the things I had kind of pushed off now that I have these again.
Wonderful.
And unfortunately, those come up before yours, as generous as this is.
Bronx sits on her foot for ear scratches.
She reaches down and scratches behind the ears. What a good dog you are.
He is a good boy.
And then you see her go take the bolts of cloth and hang them on a rack in the back of the room with similar bolts of cloth, which are in much less vibrant colors. And yes, you have returned the expensive cloth to their proper owner, Charlotte, who runs the weaver shop in town.
All right. So
Do you want me to know?
I think we.
After this point, well, so we say pleasantries and leave unless you guys want specific to her.
I'm all set.
You good, Matt?
Yeah, we're good.
So at this point, we have leather armor,
We should figure out
Dagger.
where to sell that.
short swords, and 5 clubs. So George is probably going to be the person that sells these kind of wares unless we want to sell it back to the merchant.
Well, we can. Yeah, let's talk to George and see if he wants to buy any of those
Yeah.
first.
Like we could maybe offer to teach some of the guys like combat in the village and give this stuff to them for that, so they have like a small little militia.
I mean, do you ever want us to have
Remember, there aren't many fighting age men in this town.
Oh
yeah,
right, yeah.
that's what I
They
was
have been
gonna say.
conscripted
Most
repeatedly.
of them are conscripted in the war. George is probably the only one who it's relevant to, and I'm willing to bet he knows how to use weapons anyway. He just is one person.
I mean, we
Yep.
could start
Yeah.
And
a-
he's immune from conscripting because he's a citizen.
Yep. So let's head back to George and see I mean, he can definitely make use of the weapons. I'm sure in these turbulent times, people are purchasing them from people. So
That, or he can always melt them down and turn them into horseshoes.
right.
More
Swords to
steel's always
plowshares, as the old saying goes.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you go back to George's place. He goes, back so soon?
Yeah, we forgot to see if you would like any of this, and I pull out the 2 short swords, 1 dagger, 5 clubs, and the 7 leather armor, and I'm like, is this anything that you can use, even if like swords to plowshares kind of thing or whatnot? We have no use to carry this stuff around.
Well, he looks at the clubs and he goes, you can take those back. I mean, I can go find a stick like that on a tree outside if I really needed one.
Can you
Sure.
And armor and weapons are kind of unfashionable in these parts. People got this feeling that if you're seen as proficient with a weapon, you're more likely to get conscripted. That being said, I could probably reuse the blades from those swords, but the daggers, I mean, anyone who wants one has one at this point.
But does everyone who want one have 2?
I mean,
Because, like, what if you need a backup dagger, George? Like, you could have, like, a knife dagger and, like, a side table dagger.
They're not rich
I mean-
enough for that.
I just start chuckling.
if you're if you think people would want that, you're welcome to go sell them, but people don't really come here for weapons very much.
But what about you, George? Do
Yeah.
you
What
want
would you?
He points on the wall back behind him. There's
a
like
wall of daggers?
there's like a great sword hanging on a rack.
Yeah.
But
that's
is it
like-
a great dagger?
All
He
right.
goes,
So-
if I wanted a dagger, I could make one in like 15 minutes.
Fine, Bronx and I go and explore.
So, if you're willing to buy any of this, let me know what you'd be willing to pay for it.
I'll give you 5 silver for the 2 swords.
Do I know what they're worth? Do we have an appraisal?
You
on
could
that?
buy one for. You could buy a new short sword for about a gold.
Okay.
And these are not in terribly good condition,
No.
not terribly good metal, and you're selling them, not buying them.
Yep.
Yep.
That's fair. Actually, that price isn't terrible. So,
Yeah, and I'd rather not carry them around. So
yeah. Fine by me.
Okay. You see him reach under, he pulls out a giant lockbox, and it sets on the table with a loud thunk, and he opens it up, reaches in, you hear some jingling, and he stacks 5 silver in front of you, closes it, and lowers it under the table again.
cool. I
Awesome.
hand him the swords, take the cash.
Best of luck trying to pawn the rest of that stuff off.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you for all your assistance here and, all the information you've given us.
Thanks for helping the town out.
Yep. All right. You guys want to go to the inn? Start drinking?
Sure.
One more question, George. Are there any
Yep.
surrounding towns that might need our help? Have you heard anything? Or has the bandit situation been the only thing you've really heard?
I don't hear much from Ironburg, but they've always had issues with orcs and such in the mountains. Occasionally digging into a mine from the other side. There's been some incidents where they've had to close off entire mines because of giant spiders. That's not uncommon. We've been having some trouble with the local merfolk population. Our, gentleman's agreement that's lasted hundreds of years has kind of fallen apart in the last few.
What happened?
We have no idea. They just started sinking fishing boats.
What was your initial agreement?
We leave their half of the lake alone, they leave our half alone. As long as we don't fish over there and accidentally hook them, we're cool.
And when did things start changing?
2-3 years ago? Something like that.
Is there a library in town?
I don't think you could find enough books in town to fill a bookshelf. If you would,
Not
it's
many
at the
people
inn.
here can read.
Is there
Beth
any
might
sort
have a
of, like,
book or two, but I don't know.
Was there anybody that keeps track of like records or anything for the town, like things that might have happened around that time?
I don't know. Some of the old folks might know what happened, but no one's a historian. We don't. Nothing important enough happens here to record it.
Well, obviously something important enough if the merfolk are mad.
Mm. Maybe. Not sure.
Well, thanks for the heads up.
Yep. Oh, one other thing. The wolves have been wandering closer and closer to town these last few seasons, and we prefer not to kill them, but it might be coming to that soon.
Mm.
If they take any more of the chickens, it's... the farmers are going to have to, take proactive
Start
measurements.
to take action. Yeah. Okay. Understood. Thanks for all the information.
Thanks, George.
Best of luck to you. You guys want to go to the inn? Start drinking?
Yeah, let's go to the inn.
Yeah, while we're walking, let's recap so I got this all in. So merfolk at Lake Town.
Potential orcs and big ass spiders, which I think we should avoid at Ironburg.
Wolves at Lake Town. Orcs and spiders at Ironburg.
And I will clarify that he said he doesn't hear from there very often, but he knows that they generally have issues with those things. The other two were specifically stated as things he knows
Are current.
are odd happenings around town.
The merchant would also be a good one to talk to of
Things.
yeah. Because my character don't like water. Just gonna put that out there.
I'm guessing none of you speak primordial either.
Joke's on you, because I sure do.
Oh, okay.
Well then.
Good to know.
I speak Common, Draconic, Druidic, Elvish, and Primordial. Bow, bow, bow.
Okay.
So yes, you could talk to the merfolk if you really needed to.
Ayo.
I'm more confused at the trumpets, but okay.
It's
I
not
mean-
trumpets, it's air horns.
Yeah, the perfect rendition of air horn.
You see how much I mean.
You haven't heard that sound effect that plays literally all the time?
I've heard it. I've. Please don't make me hear it again.
Bow, 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 bow.
It's happening
There
again.
it is.
Okay. So
All
you
right.
walk into the tavern.
Yeah.
And you see
Is
Hugh.
there a fireplace in the tavern? I'm assuming
Yes.
Is there a stack of wood next to said fireplace?
Morgana takes
Small.
the clubs that are useless from the backpack and lights them on fire in the fireplace.
Do you throw them into the fire or you just light them on fire and then hold them?
No,
I was
throw them
just-
into
I was
the
just-
fire.
Gonna put them on the stack of next, use them when needed, but that
They're
works too.
useless.
It's
Okay.
hot in here.
You throw.
Why did you do that?
So do you throw all of them on at once or do you just go one at a time?
No,
and...
we need them one at a time because we need to keep it going.
Okay. So it doesn't cause
So
a
she
massive
throws
flare
one in
off.
and I put the remaining 4 on the stack of wood, and I just look at you like there's enough wood on there already.
Yeah.
A club.
And Beth just kind of looks at you and she goes, "Did you really need to mess with the fire? I had it at the temperature I liked."
I sure did.
I don't understand why she did that.
I'm
Because
okay.
fire is fun.
Okay, keep an eye on you. That's good to know.
Yeah.
And you see Hugh sitting at the bar just chuckling a little at this interaction.
I'll go and talk to Hugh and tell him, hey,
Same. I'll
some
sit
of
on the
the-
other side.
we were able to mostly return the goods to their owners, but I'll show him our stash of things that we weren't able to give back, or sell.
So
7 leather armor and 1 dagger.
Bronx and I are gonna play darts.
And ask wants any of them,
I'm confused as to how.
to buy any of them,
So
obviously.
I'm throwing the darts, and he's gonna get them and retrieve them.
carrying
for me.
around armor from one of the armies without their express permission is
Probably a mistake, I agree.
it's a
Well, I
dangerous
think
proposition. If I see the other side, then sure, they'll love to take them, or maybe they won't. I don't know, but I see those guys again, and the questions will be asked, and they won't be terribly pleasant questions. I could probably pawn the dagger off, though. I don't know. I could either, pay you now for it and get what I get for it, or take it and give you the money next time I come through, if I sold it, and if not, give it back to you, whichever you prefer.
We'll just take them now, I think.
Okay? 2 silver sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Fine by me.
Cool. He reaches into his pouch, pulls out 2, sets them next to you on the counter. I assume you kept like the sheath and stuff with it and hand that over
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
Okay.
So, I order a round of drinks.
While Bronx and I are playing darts, we're listening to see if we can hear anything happening in the inn that might be of interest.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
What is it?
So at +0. No, plus
There's no way that's right. I was about to say
13 plus 3 or 16.
16.
Yep. I was looking at persuasion by accident.
Ow.
That makes sense to have 0 persuasion, but she has wisdom and therefore has perception.
Yep.
So you kind of sit down, and as you're listening, basically Beth, the barkeep, and Hugh are the only people here that aren't you guys. Since it's about midday, this is before the townies come in. You hear a soft creak from out back that you think might be a cat or raccoon, depending on what information you want to do with that information. But you hear some skittering
Can it
and
be a crossbreed?
what was that?
Can it be a crossbreed? A catoon?
I don't
Or a
think so.
cat?
I don't think the biology works on that.
You're not sure what it is. You just hear something scuffling out back in the garbage, effectively.
Fair enough. Well, that's all I got from that. The one time I rolled decently, I learned that there may or may not be a medium-sized animal rummaging through a garbage can.
May or may not be.
But naturally, Morgana has to check it out. So she's
Okay.
going to go see if it's a cat or a raccoon.
Okay, so you walk outside and sneak. Do you sneak around the back, or you just walk boldly around the back of the building?
Well, I'm going to try and sneak, but we know my rolling ability, so I bet we're
Okay.
about to find out if I
Roll me.
actually
Roll me a stealth check.
Watch. It's not 20.
give me a critical fail. Where is mine?
Stealth is right there.
Okay. 16 plus 1. Whoop, whoop, 17.
So you kind of tiptoe your way around the back of the building and lean your head around the corner, and it is in fact a tabby cat just digging through the garbage.
I go
And
to
it looks
pet
like
it.
chewing on some bone.
I go to pet it.
Roll me another stealth check.
Can I roll you an animal handling check instead? 15 plus 1, 16.
Okay. Well, you get pretty close to it before it sees you, and it snaps its head up and crouches down.
I pause.
Okay, now you can roll that animal handling check.
Christ on a cracker. 5 plus 5 is 10.
You kind of lean down, and how would you interact with this cat normally?
I would normally let it sniff my hand and then go to pet it, but I have a feeling I go to do that and then I would fall and
No,
I scare it away.
As you reach out your hand to let it sniff, instead of sniffing, it just bolts off.
Sad day. All right, I guess I should go find my companion.
While she's
Okay.
doing this,
Yep, while she
I'm
wanders
going-
out back to play with stray cats.
I'm going to ask Hugh how the other towns have been in his travels. Has there been anything as loud and rambunctious as the bandits have been for here, plaguing those cities, or just kind of the normal same olds that George had told us about?
Well, the bandits were hitting me on my trade route, so it kind of hit everyone in the region, not just here. But Warburg's always got its troubles. Mining's hard, especially when any army can come through and conscript half your workforce.
Mm-hmm.
There was a raid that got one of their hidey holes about a month back. Lost a few good men that way. I don't think they've hit anything dangerous in a while. The goblin encampment's still kind of bugging them a little, but it's just goblins. It's an annoyance. Occasionally they lose a guy for a while and he's ransom backed for God knows what. And Summertown's been dealing with the wolves have been a little ambitious and stalking their fields at night and taking chickens every now and then. A little more aggressive than usual. Doesn't seem like it's currently a problem, but it's approaching a problem.
Has there been like severe droughts in the past few years in this area, or do you think it may just be the armies moving through, stirring up the game?
Probably the latter. The garrison isn't far north of here, so I figure they're the cause of some of this trouble.
Takes a lot of meat to feed an army.
Yep.
Yeah. So I try to approach the same conversation with the barkeeper. I assume I get mostly the same information. Is there anything unique or anything like?
Beth will just again mention the issue with the merfolk and taking out some of the fisher folk.
Bronson and I stroll up. Finally.
Sure.
Yep.
Oh, are you guys talking about the merfolk?
Yeah, they just got aggressive is not the right word. Overly prickly these last few years. Taking offense at things that used to be the status quo. We've lost a few boats.
What
Usually
kind of
not.
thing?
Yeah. Any idea what changed?
No. Last time we tried to talk to them, we just got told it was all our faults and we should know what we did to them. And they just won't take it anymore, so.
Strange.
Did anything like any sewage spill or anything happen during that time? Increased fishing? Increased water traffic?
Not unless someone was sneaking out to night fish, and we're doing it on the wrong side of the lake, and lying about it and not selling it in town.
So very unlikely.
Yeah.
Uh,
Most have been accounted for during most of the time. We only got 20 people or so in town, so
yeah,
most people know who most people are.
yeah, makes a lot of sense. All right. Well, what time of the day?
It's
Fine.
just after lunch.
Okay.
You kind of rolled in early morning.
Yeah, and we were saying it takes 2 days to get to the other towns.
Yes,
Okay.
if you use the roads.
Right. So I suggest, guys, do we want to stay here for the night again, and then move on tomorrow? Maybe head up towards Ironburg.
I think we should follow the
See if we can
merfolk
help.
lead.
So I think we should stay one because Christy has the cloak. Like, yeah, we can swing back and grab it here, but
I have one.
the cloak for the dog, it's going to take
Right.
5 days. So we should probably wait for that. And the wolves is something I feel like we could probably take care of maybe as we're going around, see if we can figure out.
It sounds like the wolves are more of a problem up near Summertown.
It is a problem in both locations.
Yeah.
Okay.
But only sometimes.
Yeah, they're just getting more aggressive at this point. And like they said, they don't like killing them when they do, but they're slightly getting to that point.
I mean, true,
feel
but
like
people are dying by merfolk.
yeah, like there's actual
people aren't dying from merfolk. Boats are getting sunk.
Boats.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
They have not killed anyone yet, but it is
Yeah, but a loss of property is different
becoming
than a loss of life.
Yeah.
True, but like the loss of a boat is a major investment, and that can put someone out of business. Then hampers their ability to actually like get food and money and whatnot. So it's more of a long death.
Is I had a really good question for Beth. Now I forgot what it was.
I think.
Was it about the
I was going
merfolk?
to ask if it was possible, because I wanted to know if all of the surrounding towns know of the agreement, or if it's just an agreement between the merfolk and the town. Like, is it entirely possible that somebody from outside of the town is pissing off the merfolk, and the merfolk are taking it out on the townspeople, thinking that it's them?
Well, we're the only folk who really access this lake, but a rogue trapper might do something. They seem to imply that the issue was coming from our town with the last conversations.
Who speaks with them?
We usually elect someone to go talk to them. They have a translator who learned the common tongue, but because none of us speak fish.
Could you point us in the direction of like, I don't know if you have like a head fisher guy or one of the more elderly and experienced fishermen that everyone kind of looks up to as a leader on the lake?
I mean, you go down to the dock.
Fishing docks, you'll find anybody.
And wait a few hours when they come back in, and you should see someone who will fit that description.
Sounds good. I think we'll do that.
I want to talk to the merfolk.
Sounds good to me. So we'll hang around and we'll talk with the merfolk.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep. There we go. Okay.
So
I'm really worried my computer did. Okay.
So you're going to kill an hour or two drinking and generally chatting in the bar and then head down to the docks?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You do so. And then you walk out the door down the street, and the equivalent 3 blocks it would take to get to the 2 or 3 docks that serve the fisher folk of this community.
I throw a stick into the lake, and Bronx goes and gets it.
Okay.
Swimming puppy.
I ask you how you know Primordial.
I learned it in just my travels.
As Bronx comes out, he is covered in mud up to his knees
Who's a good boy?
because it is a very muddy lake. And it smells a little
Not great.
ripe.
Right on.
Not
Right
great.
away.
It smells like a lake.
Lake muck does not smell good.
No, it does not.
Okay, well, you see there's a few boats out on the lake, and you see them. One of them's casting nets, the other one's more sport fishing with just a single rod, and you can't really tell what the third one's doing from
How far
the
out
shore.
are they?
If you shouted, they could probably hear you, but not make out the words.
I'm going to sit at the end of the dock, stick my feet into the water, and relax.
Yep, I'm gonna hang out until they get back.
Bronx and I are going to chill.
Okay. As you sit there for about 5 minutes, you notice the one that you couldn't quite figure what it's doing comes back, is heading back in, and the one tossing nets seems to be fairly close behind that.
Okay.
And you
it's
see
the
a few
one
more
where we
appearing
couldn't-
on the horizon.
Could we figure out what the one who we couldn't see what he was doing was actually doing, or are we still don't?
Roll a perception check,
All right.
and God, I don't even know what that second skill check would be.
It's a 9, so probably not.
Yep, you definitely don't see it.
Can I just interact with the man and say, hey, did you get anything good?
But once he gets in close enough, yes. He'll be like, no, the traps came up empty today.
What were you going for?
Catfish and crayfish.
What kind of catfish? I'm not getting
Catfish.
all specific into my
Catfish?
life. Apologies.
He just kind of, when you ask that, he just kind of looks at you and goes, catfish?
Fair enough. It's not a new look for me.
So we were talking with George earlier today, and he mentioned you guys may have an issue with some merfolk.
Yeah.
What?
What's going on?
Yeah.
They're pissy about something. All I know is I stay closer to shore now, and they leave me alone.
Is there a way to talk to them?
If you call their blurberly gobbledygook talking, then yes.
You mean
Sometimes, if they want to. Holy shit. I didn't know people could actually make those sounds.
I just stare at you and blink. I'm like, that's what that sounds like?
What? All right. Because you did tell us you could speak with them.
I can speak with them. I learned it in my travels.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. So, is there like you go out to a certain spot and you wait there with like something to call them, or because I think we might be able to get a better idea of to what's causing them ill.
Wait a second. Can I ask
Yeah.
a question to DMJ?
Sure.
If I can speak primordial, does that mean that I know how to initiate contact with them? Like, do I shove my head in the water and just go, but like in a hello pattern?
Yes. Well, effectively, if you were nearby, you could start a conversation that way. But you don't know the protocols for contacting
Okay.
another town, effectively.
Fair enough.
If you ran into a merfolk, you could stick your head underwater and scream hi at them in Aquan.
Oh God. Okay. So
I'm committed to that.
I guess we say, tomorrow morning. Do you think somebody would be willing to take us to them so we can try to converse with them and see what's going on?
Take us to their
You
leader,
find
if you
someone
will.
foolhardy enough to take you out to that point.
Do you consider
Good for you.
yourself foolhardy enough to take us out to that point, sir?
Clearly not.
What about for 1 gold?
A boat costs more than that.
What about a gold and a doggo pet?
Doesn't help replace the boat.
What about a gold and a secret surprise?
I feel like the secret surprise is a doggo pet, so
I can't tell you because it's a secret.
so I'm gonna stick with no.
Oh, how large is the boat?
It's just a one-man fishing boat.
So is it like a dugout canoe? Is it?
Uh,
Doesn't matter.
it's one
Well,
of
if
the
he lives
wider
in the boat,
bodied.
I could help him build one.
It is a wider bodied boat than a canoe, but not much.
How much would it cost to rent a boat / buy a really cheap boat?
Remember the last time we tried to rent something here?
What if we sleight of hand it? It is smaller than a cow.
Not really.
Oh,
Not really. It's about the same size as a cow.
not weight wise, I hope.
No, but volumetrically.
I had to bring it back. It's okay. We could steal a boat. Morgana looks around to see if there are any abandoned boats.
Do you have?
There
I
is
asked him
not
if
an
there is-
abandoned boat, but there is a boat with a hole in it that is being patched and replaced.
Whose boat is that?
Well,
Morgana asked.
we're not stealing the boat.
No, but I can ask to borrow said boat, or maybe that boat, if we do the patchwork, would be free or cheap.
That boat,
That would be Darla's boat.
and it's going to take
That'd be
a
fantastic.
significant amount of craft work to be able to patch. I don't know how to patch a boat.
And wood.
Mm.
And
Like,
resin.
I have strength, so I could like help with the manual labor of it, but I do not have skill to fix boat.
Yeah. Why don't we wait and talk to some of the other fishermen and see if some of them are more daring?
Do any of
Who's
you
the
have
most-
proficiency with woodworkers' tools? I'll take that as a no. Because
No.
that would be what you would need to do this.
Well, technically, a warhammer is a hammer.
Yes, and a hammer doesn't help you replace wood. You need skill with, like, a plane and, sandpaper.
Well, a hammer's just a really blunt plane and a really large sandpaper.
Thank you, Jane. So
Yeah, let's wait.
Wait a second.
Okay.
Could you, to get around this, if we did take that boat, instead of doing woodworking, would you be able to roll a survival check if you knowingly took the boat into the water, have it fill up, so you're basically needing to survive and need the patchwork skills in the boat? You'd have to roll real high.
why
You could
why
try
do
to
wanna
take
try
a
to do
boat
this?
with a hole out and just bail it constantly to stay afloat. But that would get tiring very soon. very quickly.
Can we not just talk to the other fishermen?
Let's
See
wait.
why? Like, this is ridiculous.
Fisher folk.
Okay. Let's put it to a team vote.
Or no, we can talk to people. I don't care.
So let's wait. We wait for
I
the
just
other.
did that. Everyone else
until
is also
tomorrow
gonna-
anyway, so we might as well wait around and talk. I'm not going out this close to dark.
The person throwing nets comes back in, and you see a tall, muscularly built woman who is dragging in a net of what looked like a assortment of bass and bluegill.
Evening? It's evening at this point, right?
Yes,
I thought it was like noon o'clock.
it's like 4 or 5 now. They're coming in for the day.
All right.
Evening.
Evening?
I was wondering if you'd be daring enough to help
We-
us, maybe.
Nope.
Okay.
Told you.
Okay.
Do you know anyone who would be?
Yeah. Is any of your fellow fisher folk like dumb or risk taking enough to join us?
Darla was the last one to try to go deep in the waters, if that's what you're yapping on about.
It's almost like Darla might let us have her boat.
Yeah.
But talk to the guys who are coming in later. They're the ones who go further out.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, that last part cut out. They're the ones who what?
Go further out.
Go further out. Okay.
What time do you
Well,
think that they're going to be back
We'll
in?
hang around.
Half an hour or so. Depends on how their day was.
So let's hang around some more.
I'm fine with waiting.
So basically, as every boat comes in, you're like, hey, want to take us out to talk to the merfolk?
Basically.
Well, everybody but Morgana, because she already knew what the answer was going to be.
Okay.
And every time I use more and more finger guns, I get more and more desperate.
And every time I just look at what fish they've brought in and talk to them about the fishes that they caught.
It is mostly freshwater lake fish.
I love freshwater lake fishes.
I know you do.
We got some sauger in there, maybe. Some pickerel. Some bluegill. Some red ear. Some pumpkin seed. Some white bass. Some crappie. Black and white crappie. Do you want me to keep listing?
It's, you know more than I did.
I'm not. Is
Channel cat.
Is this lake large enough to support that amount of
Brown bullhead.
ecosystem?
Yes, this lake is actually fairly large.
Large. I mean, if merfolk live in it, it's got to be at least deep.
Well, just because it's. I don't know.
It is, what was it, like 3 days travel across?
It's like most of the map.
It is a good half of the map.
Mm-hmm.
And as you continue to get more information from people who slightly offer you more helpful responses than just no, like the last person did, you find that the demarker between the two territories is basically the bridge.
Okay.
And anything north of there is merfolk territory. Anything south of there is Lake Town's fair game.
Sure.
Do we really need a boat if there's a bridge?
Yeah, it sounds like we can probably walk out onto the bridge. What is the bridge? Like a day's walk away?
Yes.
How tall is the bridge?
I don't know. It's constructed using fairly primitive methods, so not very.
We're pretty close to the water.
Yeah,
Like if
maybe
you were to like want
10
to
feet
rappel
above.
down or something, you wouldn't like die.
Yeah.
I don't even think we really need a boat, guys.
Okay. Well, we can
But I
at
think we
least
should
try to
talk
talk
to
to
what they're-
Darla first.
Yeah, we
and
should
what
talk-
What is her name again?
Darla?
Darla.
Darla?
Thank you.
Is that the person with the boat's name?
She seems to be the one that knows things about merfolk. Yeah, she tried to talk to them before, so I'd like to know what she's tried to say and what their responses have been before we go there.
Okay. So you're kind of giving up on waiting for the other people to come into town after the first 4 or 5 tell you no?
Is Darla not out?
You guys talk
She
with
is not.
Darla. I'll wait for the other
Okay.
boat.
So I'll wait here as well. Or I would prefer to wait here, I guess. Talk to these
Where's
guys.
Darla?
I don't know.
Like right down the shore.
Oh, well,
Like
Bronx and I are
100
going to go talk to Darla.
Okay. Where are you going, Shane, since the other two have established what they're doing?
I will go with Christy.
Okay. So you walk down back up to the street and down the like 2 houses to where you can see the boat resting against the side of the house with a big, I don't know, saucer-sized hole in it. That appears to have been chipped into 2 or 3 of the panels of the wood.
Did you say that she was out working on the boat? Or that
You have
somebody was
not
working
seen
on the
her.
boat?
You just saw the boat with the hole in it, and someone told you it was Darla's boat.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure if you said that it was being patched or if you meant that in general it was being patched.
It is not actively being patched, but there has been work done on it.
I'm going to go I'm sure I'm going to fail this attempt, but I'm going to knock on the door.
Okay, well, you can definitely knock on the door. You're not going to fail at that. And after a few minutes, you see a tall, athletically built woman in practical shirt and pants walk out, open the door, and say, "Huh, never met you before. What can I do for you?"
Is your name Darla?
"Yes."
Hi, Darla. I'm Morgana. We're visiting from a different place. We were taking care of some bandits in town, and we heard that there was an issue with some merfolk, and that you were the person to talk to about prior discussions with the mer people.
I
Yeah.
see it didn't go well last time.
They have gotten quite a bit prickly.
Did they do
And-
that to your boat?
Yep.
What happened?
I was going over to the meeting spot to drop the message stone, and when I got within sight of the bridge, my boat started shaking, and I heard several thunks, and then a harpoon head went through the bottom, and
my
water
goodness.
started following it. I bailed
What
as
was
best as I
that?
could while heading back to shore, but it was a long walk from there.
Jeez.
So they didn't even talk to you.
No, they did
Did
not.
you get to deliver the message stone?
Didn't get to the spot where we were told to drop it to contact them, so no.
Is that spot accessible without a boat?
Technically, I guess.
Can we take one of these message stones?
I mean,
Get-
It's any big enough rock, you just paint the symbol on it and drop it in the water.
Okay. Can you teach us what this symbol is? She can speak.
No, I can just
Do
give
I
you the
need
one
a
I was going to use last time.
But do I need a message stone if I speak their language?
So this
Well,
is basically a note you're leaving at the edge of their territory to say you want to talk,
Mm.
and then they will respond. They will send scouts out occasionally to see if there has been a message left there and send the
Okay, so-
delegation out. Because they
Do
need
you
to
have
bring the
any-
translator in because no one around here speaks Primordial, specifically Aquan.
I do.
I know you do. But that is not how things have worked in the past.
But I want to help now.
I understand. And
Do
you can do
have
so.
Do you have any idea what happened between the mer people and your people?
All I can think of is someone went past the bridge and fished on one of their houses. And then didn't tell anyone, and we didn't see it.
How far away is this meeting place?
It's most of a day's row from
But if we
here.
didn't have a boat?
If you go by the road to the bridge, it will take 6 hours.
It's not horrible.
And it is approximately the same amount of time to row there.
Well, that's not bad.
If we can leave the stone in the proper place without getting in the water, I think it might be easier to just put it there and wait by shore.
I agree.
Okay.
Is there anything we should know?
They're a bit aggressive. Even before things were bad, they were always a bit on the angrier side.
Are there
There's
specific
a-
things
They're
that set them off?
they're particularly prickly about their honor, and don't take to slights very well.
So don't infer
Just-
that they're better than tripping like a child, basically saying, "Hey, you did something," and they're not telling us what the thing was. That would be that.
Yeah, they're mostly just people who live underwater. I mean, they have some weird ideas about how you should treat fish, but I take that more from living with them.
Understandable. All right, so I think we'll do that. If you would be fine with us taking the stone you were going to use, we'll.
Yeah, just give me a sec. She walks back into the house, comes back with a little bigger than fist-sized rock with a weird symbol written on it in what you think is probably tar. And Christy, as you look at it, you realize it is the Aquan symbol for meeting.
Oh, the Aquan symbol for meeting, guys. That is what is on this.
I'm shocked.
Or guy, because you're not there, right?
I'm not even there, but I inferred that from context.
No, that's yours. I open the book. Nope, it's not a book, it's a stone. I take it, put it in a backpack.
And she says, best of luck to you. Well, I guess if you took care of the bandits, you might be able to take care of yourself against the merfolk, but try not to get yourself killed. And try not.
I'll do my best, but
try not to piss them off even more. That would be terrible.
Yeah, that would be.
All right.
Well, hopefully you'll hear from us tomorrow with good news. If not,
I'll be here fixing the hole.
sounds good.
Thank you so
So-
much for the information.
Yes, thank you. I bid you adieu.
She just kind of nods and waves and closes the door.
We head back over to Matt and fill him in.
And Matt, you have received nothing but a streams of "you're crazy for trying," "I'm not going to risk my boat over there," yada yada from the now 8 people who
Okay.
have come in.
That's what I expected for the most part. I will stay here though and keep asking people
Okay.
as they arrive.
Okay.
Guess what we just got? As we approach, I'm excited.
Passage over to speak with the merfolk.
No, that's our feet, but we have a meeting stone. That's a rock fact.
So
You didn't
What
talk to
do
people
we-
much before us, did
what
you?
do we do with the stone?
We drop it in the water, and it signifies that we want to meet them, and then someone comes and finds us.
Okay, do we know where we need to drop it?
We do.
At the bridge.
Oh, like we can just drop it off the bridge?
Basically.
That's what I was under the impression of.
That's more convenient. We may not even need a boat.
Correct.
We don't need a boat. It's a 6-hour walk.
All right. I suppose we honestly, walking's easier than
Trying to
getting
get
there in
somebody
a
to
boat
get
anyway.
boat.
So you guys want to head in for the night and start out first thing tomorrow morning?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I don't like water. This works.
Yeah, this is going to be fun for Marvin, who's not a fan of water.
I love water.
You can stay back if you wish, Marvin.
I appreciate this. I will stand higher on shore.
All right.
Okay. So you go to bed for tonight. Are you renting a room at the inn, or are you sleeping in the dirt?
I'm renting a room at the inn.
I'll take a room at the inn.
I'm sleeping in the dirt with Bronx.
Okay, so I'll need a silver from Marvin and Hal to pay for
How
inn services for the night.
how much did I spend on drinks earlier too?
And it basically brings the whole thing to 2 silver.
Cool.
All right, we're good.
Okay. You get a small room with a straw mattress.
It's much better than
Similar
the
to
ground.
Sleeping outside.
Sucks to suck.
I mean, you have a bedroll and things, so you're not just
But
like
I
lying
have
on the
to
dirt.
die. I'm not lying on the dirt. Bronx is my pillow.
Yes, and
That
your-
seems
that is your head.
uncomfortable.
That covers your head, but not the rest of your body.
The head is the only thing that shouldn't be on the ground.
I'm just saying
Okay,
a bedroll
then.
is slightly softer.
Knowing from experience, rocks hurt your butt.
I mean, I'm not going to sleep on a rock in my butt. It sounds like you made a poor choice on where you were sleeping.
But the ground is just a rock. Usually.
But it's not all like a pointy rock. Like where would that
okay.
cause discomfort?
In any event, we sleep.
Okay, you wake up in the morning.
Mm.
Fully rested.
You have
Go downstairs,
long rested.
have
You
some
have
breakfast.
everything back.
Yay. We didn't use anything anyway. But yay.
That's- Yep. So, you head out in the morning and walk around the road, and now when you get to the main road, instead of heading off towards the east, you're going to head towards the west.
Yep.
East? I thought you said west.
So, do we encounter anything interesting in our 6 hours of walking along the road?
Well, who wants to roll the dice to determine that?
I do.
I'll roll some percepts.
Nat 20
I
Okay.
don't need to roll percepts.
plus
I
3.
got a 15.
Well, one of you did it. I needed one person to do it, and Christy did it for your travel roll. And she rolled a 20, which is generally good news for you. And as you set out, a rainstorm kind of moves in front of you, but never quite hits you, and it just passes basically north to south in front of you. And you kind of keep approaching and thinking, man, it's going to suck if we get rained on. And it never quite comes to you. And as it clears off, you're left behind, it leaves behind a brilliant rainbow that arcs across the entire sky. Through which, you know, you think, man, that's cool. Nature is fucking awesome.
Yeah, right on.
Nature.
All right.
So each of you will get 1d4 of inspiration,
Dope.
which is anytime you make a roll, before I tell you whether it's successful or not, but after you make the roll, or you can also do it beforehand, but I don't know why you would, you can add a d4 to that roll once.
Yep.
Something tells me that's going to get used on diplomacy.
That's distinctly possible.
Wait, what?
Okay. So, that's pretty great. Let's continue on.
Y'all are welcome. Do I notice any fun animals around?
Since you're sticking to the road, not really.
Boo.
That's fair.
I go up to Hal during our travels, and I go, merchant, made me think of something.
You cut out for a second there for me, Shane. Sorry.
Yep. You cut out when your first half of that. You said, I go up to talk to Hal, and then made me think of something.
No, that's exactly what he said.
I'm tempted, but no. So, talking with Hugh earlier made me think of something. If it would be bad for him to sell the armor, Morgana's currently wearing said armor.
You took the patch off of it.
Oh,
You
we did?
specifically
Okay.
said.
Okay. Cool. Forgot about that.
Also, stop trying to take away my only defense that I have.
No, I was more. We need to modify it so that people.
Yeah,
I mean, realistically, you also know I'm covered in fucking dirt. at this point.
that's what I was going to suggest anyway, if she hadn't done that, but I was pretty sure she had. So,
Even accidentally, she would cover it in dirt.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like already covered in, like, my dog is covered in mud. I've been seeing my head, body. I'm sure we've been rolling around in the dirt. I'm disastrous, I'm assuming at this point.
Knowing this, I stand an extra 5 feet away from you.
I somehow don't smell.
Precautionary.
So,
Dust baths, yeah.
Yeah. Like a little chinchilla.
We'll keep going, I think.
Yep, and you make it to the bridge, and as you approach it, you realize you weren't really prepared for the scope of this bridge. It is far longer than you were expected, and it is kind of in the old Roman style of repeated stone arches. And you realize it'll probably take you half an hour to quarter of an hour to cross this bridge, as it is fairly wide at this point in the lake.
Good thing we only have to go 7 minutes because we only need to go half a.
Okay.
You mean 15 to 20? That would be halfway across?
I thought you said a quarter of an hour to 30.
I think quarter of a mile.
I meant half to 3/4, sorry.
Gotcha. I was like, can I really not math? Is half of 15 not?
I think I just misspoke.
Yeah. In any
All
event.
right.
Okay. So, Marvin, how do you feel about this?
Bridge is fine. I'm
It
just
is.
not getting.
How
I'm just
sturdy is
not
this
getting.
bridge?
I'm not particularly worried about it. So
It is very
I
sturdy and of stone construction, and seems to be fairly well maintained.
Yep.
Oh, well,
What is it around noon?
Yes. Or it'd be a little... You probably didn't wake up and leave until 7 or 8, so probably closer
Okay.
to...
Oh, guys, you don't
2?
even need
Sure.
to cross it, right? Like, I could just hypothetically take a nice little jog to the middle and throw it over. Right? That's
Yeah.
all we're doing right now. So if you really
You could
don't
also
want
try to throw it from the shore if you wanted to, but...
No,
I don't have to.
I just don't want to go waist deep. Like I'm fine
Because, like,
sticking
we're
my
not
feet in the wall.
communicating. We're just throwing the stone over in the middle of the bridge.
I mean, if you want, I can stand by. my
I
word.
think more towards the middle where it's deeper is probably better.
Yeah.
I could send Bronx. He could take it in his mouth.
With the tar.
Drop it. Oh,
cause-
no. No tar. All right, never mind, JK. Just kidding.
The tar is only
Let's
on one
just
side. He could hold it tar
do
side
what-
out.
You could.
Let's just do what we originally planned and walk to the middle of the bridge.
Yeah. Let's just do that.
That's fine. I just know you don't like water. So
Yeah,
I was saying you
just
didn't
not waist
have to.
deep. Just not waist
Okay.
deep.
So
We
you go
walk to the middle.
and just throw it out the far side?
Mhm.
Yeah. Wherever it's supposed to go.
The side that is not towards town.
Are you
The
just...
north side. The north side.
Are you like lobbing it out there or just kind of dropping it over the edge?
Like a little like a toss.
Okay.
But like not like a hurl it, you know?
Okay. So you probably get 10, 15 feet out from the bridge, but no further?
Yeah. Wait, what direction is the current flowing?
It's a lake.
I mean, there's still... The mild current is
Some flow
towards
based on
town.
the geography of that lake. Because there's like a whole bottleneck where it like widens and then goes. So there's going to be some sort of water
This is the
flow.
bottleneck that you're standing at right now.
I
They built
know,
the bridge
that's why
across-
I want to know what way the water is ripping through that bottleneck.
Towards Lake Town.
Towards the town, then I
Yes.
should hurl it.
Okay.
But it goes further into
It
the
is
actual
not-
water territory.
It is not terribly fast moving.
Okay,
at
so
this
it
point.
won't move the rock?
You don't think it would.
All right, well then never mind. I'm not going to impale.
I was about to say it's a very gentle flow, but it is towards town.
Okay. We'll stay at about 15 feet.
Okay. So you kind of just go...
Yeah.
And
And I tell Bronx to
Bloop.
stay so that he doesn't accidentally fetch.
he wouldn't jump. You would have to jump, get onto the side wall of the bridge, and then jump out. And then
Parkour's hardcore.
Okay.
what I'm saying is
So-
there's no easy way back up, so he wouldn't try to do it.
So
So how long?
let's
Does anything happen when you
around.
throw it in there?
Yes.
Like, does it light or bubble, or is there any notification that the message was received?
You don't see anything.
Okay.
You just see
I
the
figured
stone
they
going.
probably.
bloop.
I figured they probably aren't permanently watching that location, so we're gonna have to wait a little while to see if they notice us.
Yep. That is a fair thing to assume, since you were told that's basically the process.
Yep.
Morgana starts looking for fishes to see if she can just see them over the bridge while she waits.
Roll me a perception check. The water is a little bit murky.
11 plus 3, 14.
You see some.
Oh, look, a fish.
Yep.
Guys, look, a fish.
Okay,
That's it. We were just waiting. What else?
I've seen fish before.
Yeah, but look at that one. That's a cute fish.
I bet
Okay,
Hal's thinking, but does it taste good?
Probably.
yeah.
Okay.
Here's-
All right.
Well, an hour passes and nothing has happened.
I ask, what time do you guys think we should head back? Probably plan to set up camp or something. Obviously, we've got some time yet to kill,
Puts us at,
but
what,
I just don't want to be standing here too late.
No, I think we got here around 2.
I thought we got here at noon.
Did we get here at noon or 2?
You got your somewhere between 1 and 2.
So then like 1:30. So now it's what, 2:30?
I'd say probably around 6 we should go and set up camp on the town side of the bridge and just like right where the bridge connects.
Yeah, I think the same.
Okay. Well, the bridge
Okay.
runs east-west, and the lake goes north-south here. So the town
So
side of the bridge would be 2 spots, technically.
We're going back east.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I figured that's what you meant, but felt the need to clarify.
So we wait
Okay.
and we wait.
3 hours.
45 minutes later,
Fair enough.
you see a form rise out of the water. Actually, 3 forms. And if you are familiar with what a merfolk looks like, they are a slightly bluish-skinned, fishy-looking people that have bottom halves that are fishtails. These are not the, top half fully human merfolk. They are all sort of fishy, but
Perfect.
humanoid torsos. And they seem to be dressed mostly in local seagrasses woven into clothing.
That sounds.
And one of them is basically in the back. There's a person slightly in front of him and slightly to the left that appears to be more militaristically inclined. And then a person in long flowing robes who is
Royalty.
15 feet in front of the person in the back, who is the first to appear.
Morgana, it's your time to shine.
And as you do, the person in the back says something in Aquan, which
Could I hear it?
you hear it and understand it as ask the surface dwellers why they breach protocol and stand upon their land above the sea, or land above the lake. And the person in front, halfway through hearing it in true translator style, as he's talking, starts translating it. And in common, you hear, "The Lord of Murky Depths asks why you break protocol and take the high ground as if you are superior to us."
We did not mean any disrespect, my lord. We just could not have access to a boat. Bloop, bloop.
Are you
And-
saying that in Aquan or in common?
In Aquan. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Okay.
So I would. Oh well, I guess I don't know. I don't know what she said.
Yes, you do not. You see a shocked look cross each of their faces as you respond in Aquan as the only surface dweller to do so, but since you always also have blue skin, it's mildly less surprised than that. But go ahead and roll me an insight check, each of you.
I get plus 30.
Oh, this isn't good.
10.
Nat 1 plus 3.
Okay.
Wait, but don't we get something extra for insight?
14.
You can use your inspiration, your 1d4, to try and increase it if you think it'll help. I'll just tell you this, it will not help with the nat 1.
All right, well then, okay.
Matt, are you considering
I
it?
got
Or
a 10.
okay. And Shane, you got like a 4?
14.
So, like,
14.
that's
Oh.
first.
Do you want to try and use your
It'll work.
inspiration to see if you can push that up a little? Because a 14 is a respectable number. You don't
Thanks,
have to.
Jay.
It's just a... I'm just saying, a 14 could be considered a success on some checks.
I'm not
A 15
going
is a
to
good
because
threshold.
just-
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it as is.
Shane, you should do it. Do it.
Well, Shane,
do it. Do
there's
it. Do
there's
it.
something
Do
more
it.
to the translator's expression that doesn't seem to quite match. The rest of you just see shock on all three of their faces. But Shane sees there's an added layer to his shock, but you're not sure what.
Mm.
I lean over to you and just very quietly go, "Watch your words. There's more to this than shock."
Okay. Well,
Well, why would
the
I watch my words if I understand their words and I speak their language?
their translator starts looking back and forth between you and the king, and you hear him try to whisper something. If you want to try to overhear it,
Oh, I
feel free to
see.
roll me a perception check.
Yep. Ooh, that would be, sir, a 19 plus a 3.
So a 22. So you can quite clearly hear him whisper, kind of stage whisper back to the guy and go, Lord Mayor, they speak our tongue. Do you still wish to speak with me so your ears are not dirtied with the words of the surface dwellers? And you see the guy sit and think for a while and goes, "No, I believe my words will suffice." And the guy will bow and back off. And feel free to roll me an insight check again.
An 8 plus 3, so 11.
Okay. He doesn't like this.
Morgana takes this. How close am I to the edge of the? Can I step forward?
I got. Can I roll insight as well?
You
or was
wouldn't
that
have
more
the
in his
context to
tone?
understand
That
it.
was
You
more
just
his
see him.
tone?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
You're basically standing on the edge of the bridge. There's a small waist-high railing made out of stone. So you are standing just behind that. It's about, I don't know, 1.5 feet thick.
Okay, well, Morgana bows her head respectfully to the Merking
Lord Mayor.
Lord Mayor.
Yes.
And in the primordial tongue, says, "My lord, we meant no disrespect. We come in peace. We just wanted to talk to the merfolk about the problem that they're having with, who are we?
Lake Town.
With like
With Lake Town."
He just looks at you and scoffs and says, "Those mongrels know what they did."
But
Yes.
sir, respectfully, I don't work with them, and I don't even know them. Passing through town, and we heard about the feud that was happening between the two of you, and everybody seems really angry, but no one seems to be able to say what happened. And we were just hoping that we might be able to put some sort of resolution to this. If somebody had offended you, we could figure out who it was and potentially bring them to justice.
It
We
is
just
not
wanted
just
to hear from the kind merfolk.
It is not just one of them. Those troglodytes have repeatedly disrespected us over the years, and we used to have such great relationships with them.
Are they fishing on your land, or what's the problem?
That was but the inciting incident. Every time we have spoken with them recently, they have hurled nothing but disrespect at our culture and our ways. Now, everyone feel free to roll me an insight check when he says that.
16 plus 3, 19.
15.
I got a 16 total.
18.
The translator is looking very panicked at the moment. and is starting to sink a little into the waves, ever so slightly.
My lord, who have you been speaking to, and who has facilitated these meetings? Who's been speaking your tongue?
My translator Blurble, and he leans back and sees the guy trying to sink into the water, is our only speaker of the